Next is C11, and C11 is got some curved piecing in it. Basically, if you look at this, this is a 4-patch, so there's 4 squares with some bars attached to the outside, and then the 4 squares are 3 pieces with curved piecing. So if we look at each square, we're going to take this outside curve, and I'm going to gathering stitch all of these outside curves, and then we're going to attach this. These inside curves are going to be notched a couple for their basting, and then the straight pieces are glue basted, and the same thing, this is gathering stitch. So I'm going to assemble these 3 pieces for each of the 4 blocks, and then I will attach these pieces. So this piece will be, this will be attached to this one before that one. This one will be attached to this one before that one. So make sure your orientation is correct as you assemble. So again, this one before this one before this one. So here's my pieces laid out, and again, we're going to gathering stitch all of these curves right here. These are going to be, I'm going to do, I think one's not going to be enough, so probably 2 small ones, but I'd like to do 1 if I can. I'll see how that goes. Glue-based straight edges, glue-based straight edges on this. The rectangles, I'm going to do the short sides first and then the long sides. So I'm going to do this 1 block at a time. So I will start here just because it's easiest for me to maneuver and clear this corner. But before I start assembly, I will just go through and do all of these outside curves first. I'm going to glue baste the straight sides first before doing the gathering stitch, so I get the crispest edge. So I've basted all of my outside curves. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to baste one of these, and then I can assemble it into a block. So I've basted this one. What I did is I notched it, I did these sides first on both the straight ends, but then I notched it once, and when I went to glue it and fold it over, it was not enough notches, so then I was forced to notch it 2 more times for 3, but then I tried it on this one and I did it twice, and that was enough. So I try not to notch it more than I need to. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble this block, and when I stitch it, I'm going to line this up and attach it to about here, and then I'm going to line this up and then meet in the middle, and I'm going to make sure that when I come to these edges or these cuts that I don't get terribly close, and I want to then stitch it to about here and stitch it to about here, and I'll bring the stitch in so that it will cover that, but I don't want to get the needle too terribly close to that cut, because it'll fray the fabric and it will show on the front. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble this block. So I've assembled my first square. I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to leave this in the right orientation so I can get them assembled correctly. I don't know if I can mess it up or not, but I don't want to try. So I'm going to go ahead and connect that one and then make the other 2 as well. So I've got all 4 of my squares assembled. Next thing to do is to attach my short bars, and I want to look at my picture here. So I'm going to make sure that that happens, or actually I didn't realize I laid it out so accurately. I can just attach the short side. So this one goes here and here, and this one goes here, and this one goes here. So let me get these basted, and I'll attach them to each square. So I've got my short bars attached to the appropriate side of each square. Now I'm going to attach the long pieces to the other outside section, and I don't know if you can see this, I used black thread where there's black and blue, and I used my blue thread that matches my blue because I didn't want it to come through. That's just significant on my particular colorways here. So, and then whenever the blue's touching in the rest of the square, I will use blue thread as well. So let me get these other bars attached. So I've got the other bars attached to my squares. Next thing to do is to pair them up into rows. Now I've got my blocks paired up, and this is what it should look like at the front. Now I'm going to connect the halves. So I've put my rows together. Now I just got to remove my basting from all of my outside curves. So I've taken my basting out of my outside curves, and now my C11 block is completed.